Hello and welcome to another episode of Moose's Gear Goo Review. I'm Moose and today got another knife review, and that is of the Kershaw. Actually, one of Kershaw's most beloved and iconic knives, the Kershaw Leek. Holy wicked. That's like the first thing I thought when I first saw this knife. Just like, man, that's wicked. That's just so pointy. Kind of freaked me out. So this is the Kershaw Leek, designed by Ken Onion. Classic Kershaw knife, classic EDC assisted opening knife. But yeah, let's talk about it, and I'll let you know what I think. So the overall length of the Kershaw Leek is 7 inches. The blade length is 3 inches. The blade thickness is 0.09 inches thick. The handle length is 4 inches. The handle thickness is 0.35 inches thick. So pretty slim handle. And the overall weight is 2.5 ounces, which is awesome for an EDC knife. The lighter, the better. So yeah, guys, super cool knife. We'll start with the blade like usual. And that is probably the thing that terrifies me the most. And this is considered kind of a Warncliffe style blade, according to descriptions I've seen. It is a hollow grind. It has a bead blast finish on this variant, and it is a plain edge. The knife itself has kind of a strange edge. Not much belly to it, but at the same time it's not super flat. It almost kind of bows out, and it has an ever so slight, like, recurve, at least on this one. So I don't know if that's standard. It doesn't say anything about it being recurved, but I have noticed that there's that kind of curve to it slightly, so it's kind of interesting. It is like a high hollow grind just because the point does taper down abruptly there, and it tapers to a very, very fine point. So out of all the knives you were to choose to do surgery on somebody with, I'd probably choose this one because that point is just vicious. So yeah, there's no, there is some jimping on the tang of the knife, but you know, doesn't offer much grip there. There are 2 studs on it. I'm not going to call them thumb studs because they're not intended as thumb studs. These are actually the stop pin. And it stops by hitting the actual frame of the knife up top here. On the front show side, there's no branding. Then on the back side, you get the model number, and then you get Kai, patent pending, Ken Onion design. I wish there was a slight choil there just to make it a little bit easier to sharpen. But they do kind of have this curved place here, and that's almost like a finger choil, though I don't recommend biting up on there just because it doesn't seem to be intended for that. But that's just there because of the flipper. So it is in flipper, has some jimping on it, but it's intended to be a flipper only spring assisted knife, and it does have the Ken Onion speed safe. And it is made in the USA. So it's one of Kershaw's made in the USA knives. Going into the handle, you have these awesome kind of forest green anodized aluminum handle scales. All the hardware is silver. There is kind of an FRN or GFN back spacer between the stainless steel liners. You just have that Kershaw Speed Safe USA branding there. Then on the back side, you have this pocket clip that is also has Kershaw pressed into it. The pocket clips, you know, I like Ken Onion designs, but his pocket clips are kind of trash to me. I mean, they look cool. They have kind of his signature curvatures to them, but they're usually kind of big, and they're like never deep carry. So I don't know why he doesn't do more deep carry. Obviously, he's a much more artistic knife designer in my mind, as far as like playing with the geometry and the curves and stuff and how things flow. but I kind of like a better, more practical clip. Not that this doesn't work, but it is fairly thin, and I do prefer deep carry. But it is reversible, tip up, tip down, right side carry only. And as you can see, there is a small screw in the one side of the handle, and that is actually a feature I do actually kind of like, especially for people who are really unsure with speed safe products, or even semi-auto or auto knives, is sometimes they don't have a safety lock. So if you're worried about this deploying on its own, this has a built-in lock, and it's pretty simple. It just moves that small black piece of plastic there in front of the blade, and that prevents the blade from deploying. Then to unlock it, you just slide it. So super light, great little knife, great for kind of office, urban EDC. Kind of longer blade than I'm used to, but nonetheless it works really well, and it's just a really light pocket knife. It doesn't take up much real estate, so would be, I don't know, it's just a good knife. I've heard a lot of good things. Oh, and it has the blade steel, the Sandvik 14C28N, which is a really good steel, and Kershaw uses it on a lot of their mid-range knives, so definitely works really well, and it's held up, and it's been proven for a number of years. So let's compare it to some other knives. Got the K-Bar Dozier. There we have Spyderco Delica 4, and we'll do the bug out. As you can see, these are all fairly similar in the same size range. They all have about a 3-inch blade, and handle length wise though, it looks like the Leek actually has the shortest handle, which means the blade to handle ratio is actually pretty good. So as you can see, the blade goes pretty far to the handle, whereas other knives, they usually have about a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch left of handle. So that being said, comparing, sorry guys, I feel like I'm just on a tangent all the time. You can see about the same thickness. Handle wise though, the Leek is thinner. It's very thin, lightweight pocket knife. Compare it to the Dozier, same story. Blade thickness about the same. Handle thickness much thinner. So very nice. And then blade thickness, I want to say the Benchmade it might just be a hair thicker. Handle wise about the same though, so pretty good. Honestly, excellent lightweight pocket knife. Definitely not intended for like really heavy duty stuff, especially with the tip so fine. I feel I've heard the biggest problem with this knife is that the tip is really susceptible to breaking, but that's a given just because of the delicate tip it has. So if you're looking for a heavy use, hard use knife, this probably wouldn't be it. But if you're just looking for an everyday carry slicey knife, that'd be good for like food prep or just cutting open packaging or letters or whatever, or even some really fine detail cuts. This would probably hit the mark pretty well. So either way, the fit and finish and quality is there, and I can recommend this knife for sure. For most, at least the one I got. Now I will say that this knife does come in a number of different variations, from different blade steels to different handle scales, from GFN to stainless steel frame locks. This is a liner lock. So definitely have some options out there. The anodized green aluminum handle scales are matte finished, and so they do kind of provide a little bit of texture there. The jimping is pretty lame. Doesn't really do much other than I feel some bumps. But that little finger choil there, guard, does kind of lock it in. and just kind of the curves to the handle and the ergos help me maintain a grip on it. Hitting the liner lock is easy enough, and finding that flipper tab is doable. Doesn't take much effort to actually deploy it with the flipper tab there, so pretty nice. And yeah, definitely usable with a gloved hand. So pass the ugly brown glove test. I'll give it a C+. It's not the greatest, but definitely doable. And this thing just jets out. It's just a fun knife to flick open. So if you're a Kershaw fanboy or just like classic knives that kind of change the game for the knife world, this is definitely one you should check out and maybe have in the collection. So there you have it, guys. The Kershaw Leek. Thank you. I'll leave links in the description below. Be sure to check out these other videos over here. Click the button up there for extra videos, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you outside. Thank you.